So we have been able to quantitative, perform quantitative and qualitative analysis. We have been able to identify our risk. Now, how do we respond to those risks that we have identified? What do you need to do to respond to those risks? Now you know your risk, so you need to plan for it. You need to plan how you respond to that risk. So what do you do? Just like how we plan for our resources, we also plan for risk response by assigning a risk owner. We know the risk. Who can handle it is the next question that comes to mind. Who can we give it to as a responsibility? What techniques are we going to use in responding to that risk? Because we are planning. Now, what are the strategies we are going to use if we need to respond to the risk? What strategy are we going to use when it comes to negative risk? Negative risk is a threat. A case where it is going to have an impact on our project is a threat. A case where it's going to delay on our delivery rate is a threat. A case where it's going to impact on our budget is a threat. So that's threat. You understand? So what can we do? What strategies can we put in place? I remember the incident that happened in Abuja not long ago. I think with a naval officer and the FCT minister. Yes. So there is one constant risk when it comes to building construction. The constant risk there is that when you are building, even when your papers are complete, development control will still come and tell you stop work. Yes, it's just a constant risk. And I'm sure most of us have seen it when we are working. You see where a new construction is ongoing, you will see a very big paint marked. They will mark it bad and they will say stop work. So it's a constant risk and all of that. So that becomes a threat. You understand? So by default, when carrying out a building construction in Nigeria, is you already have there's a risk of development control coming over. So what was the response to this negative risk? We see that a naval officer was able to stand his ground to take charge of that very plot of land where the minister wanted to take over. And that was the response. But I continue to ask myself, what if I am not in the military? I'm not a naval officer. So does it mean that development control can override me? So it means I must have it in the back of my mind that in as much as I'm carrying out a building construction project, development control are what they are negative risk. Strategy for positive risk. There is opportunity. A land is being opened somewhere. Sorry, I'm using the construction industry because basically that's my field, and I'm sure we cannot translate it to our various fields. Yes, so we have a new site that is coming up, and there's going to be a mega project of a low-cost housing. And knowing that that plot is going to sell very soon, I decided to take my block industry to that environment. I decided to be the first person who manufacture blocks. Trust me, when that place start developing, who are they going to patronize? They are going to patronize me because I'm a very closest vendor to the site. And a lot of people will want to do business with me because I'm going to be saving them time and cost. They would rather prefer to buy from me than going inside the town to go and buy. Now, that's a positive risk. I've seen a future. Remember, when we're talking about why organizations embark on projects, why they drive on projects, is simply because they have seen opportunity, a futuristic opportunity. So when I was setting up my block industry in that environment, I may not actually make sales at the very beginning, maybe 6 months into that project, I'm beginning to make sales, and that is me taking advantage of positive risk. You understand? So in our business, or maybe I may even decide to start selling cement in that area. Trust me, I'm going to make a lot of sales when I do that. Contingency response is also another strategy that we use. Please kindly confirm that you can hear me, guys. Please confirm that you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir. For me, I can
All
hear you
right.
though.
Okay, thank you so much. Always feel free to use the chat box, yeah, so that we can also be able to communicate better. Please, the chat box is for you. Always feel free to go in there and type if you have questions and any complaints at any point where my voice goes off or my mic is not coming on. Please feel free to use the chat box. So we say contingency is plan B. Is also another techniques that we use. Yes. So we have a vendor that is supposed to supply us the material, but we have a clause in our project management plan or in our risk response plan that says when a vendor fails to supply a goods or a material within 3 days, it has triggered a clause in our project management plan. In our risk response strategy, it has triggered it. It means that if this vendor failed to deliver this material within 3 days, we have also planned on how we are going to source out for this material within that period and within meeting with a closest vendor that can deliver that material within a space of 2, 3, 4 hours. You understand? So our clause says, or our plan B says, if a vendor fails to deliver material within 3 days, we need to source that material from the closest vendor. Yes. And the only way we can do this is when we plan for it. And in planning for it, we'll put in an evaluation, we'll put in cost and all of that. Because if our original vendor who is supposed to supply us is saving us 15 naira per cost or per item or per unit, what it means is that 15 naira per unit, we are no longer going to get it because he has failed to deliver. You understand? He has failed to deliver. So that 15 naira additional cost is going to have an implication. So we plan for it. We have that cost by the side. You understand? So that's cost contingency. You understand? So that is a specific action a team can take when a clause on the plan risk response has been triggered. You understand? And how does this work? You must pre-plan for certain events. The goal is to reduce the impact of the risk. Because you will agree with me that if that particular activity we are carrying out, or maybe that material we need is for our critical activity, and we say a critical activity is an activity that cannot be delayed, and we have a vendor who has not supplied us material in the past 3 days for us to use and carry out our critical activity. Now, if you delay the activity by 1 day, maybe we'll be incurring a debt of over 10 million. But if we source for that material within the closest vendor, we'll be spending additional 2 million. When you do the maths, will it be better we wait for the vendor who delays by every day, or who has already delayed for 3 days, or we actually source for a vendor who is close by, spend additional 2 million and save us 8 million? If you check it from a management sense, it will make sense that you spend that 2 million than you now later spend 10 million from management sense of view. And I believe you agree with me on that. So that's a contingency plan. That's how it comes in. Now, let's look at the strategies we can use basically for the negative risk. Avoid. Oh, while are they here for this project? Make we leave them. This means is a risk avoidance. It involves you changing the management plan to eliminate the threat entirely. You understand? What it means is that you are going to change the scope. You are going to change the delivery date. You are going to change the budget. And that's you avoiding it. Let's say your schedule says you must deliver next week. You have seen the risk involved. So what you are going to do is to say, no, 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 we cannot deliver next week. You write to the sponsor. What we call change request. We'll discuss about that when we get to execution of our project. So you avoid it. Then the next thing, another strategy you can use is to transfer. Oh boy, while I did here, oh, make we carry and give another person, make dem come do am abeg. Third party, you understand? Mitigate. This wahala we no go fit solve and finish oh. But make we do wetin we go fit do. Let's do what we can do. That's to reduce. You understand? That's to mitigate it. Accept. This wahala na our own oh, we go carry am. We work from Monday till Friday, but right now we are behind schedule on our project. I can begin to tell my team members, oh boy, Mona, look, oh, the way this matter they go, we go need to work on Saturday and Sunday. Oh. Yes, I understand. Say Saturday and Sunday is not part of it's not part of it's not part of our weekly work schedule. But man, we are behind schedule, so we need to involve. We need to put it in. So we have accepted that problem, that risk that it is our own for us to carry. After all, the Bible says everybody shall carry his own load. You honest. So that's how you go about responding to negative risk. What you need to do. You understand? Like was rightly mentioned, accept means we know that this risk is our own, we acknowledge it, and we are going to find a way to ensure that we able to deliver within what we have planned for. Strategy for positive risk. Remember, I said it that when you think of risk, you don't always think of risk as something negative. There's also a positive risk. Let's say we have a project in a rocky area. We want to construct a skyscraper, and we are going to need 5,000 tons of granite. That will cost us about 500 million. So we decided to blast the rock that we meet on that our site. And after we done blasting, we met 20,000 tons of granite after we have spent 200 million. Now, we sold 5,000 tons of granite, cost us 500 million, and we have been able to generate 20,000 tons. So if we remove the 5,000 tons we are going to need for our project, we have 15,000 tons left. And we say 5,000 tons is 500,000. So we sold the remaining 1,000, the remaining 15,000 tons of granite. And when we did that, we were able to realize 1.5 billion because 5,000 tons is 500 million. Then we spent 200 million blasting the 20,000 tons of granite. So if we remove our 200 million from that 1.5 billion sales, we have 1.3 billion profit. Yes, we have exploited that environment. Yes, the time we use in blasting the rock has impacted into our project. But at the end of the day, we made profit of 1.3 billion. That's a positive risk. You understand? So we can exploit. We see opportunity, we take advantage of it. You understand? We exploit. Do we have an organization, high profile, that can do this job for less cost, not compromising quality and delivering on time? Oh, we know they don't have a job, they don't have a project ongoing. They are going to accept it even though we don't make profits. Let's give it to them so that we can focus on bigger projects. That's exploit as well. Yes. This is what most people in Nigeria do, especially MDs, the CEO. They practice what we call capitalism. They engage you in a project, you understand, where your job description has been defined. But as soon as you resume job, you begin to do other things that were not part of your job description. They begin to add you to other projects that were not part of your project. And the bad thing is, they are not even going to add new salary. They are not going to give you time off. They are just going to make you work, and work. That's exploitation. You understand? That's exploitation. That's capitalism. And that's what most Nigerian boss practice. And I'm sure most of us are quite familiar with this situation, especially in our place of primary assignment, where they tell you that this is what you are going to do. At the end of the day, you are doing something else that is not even part of your job description. That's exploitation. So they are taking advantage. So as an organization, you can also take advantage when you see, oh, you have a project, you don't see another organization. They can deliver on time, oh, and they will deliver quality work. But we know that they don't have a project as such. So if we give them this project, we know that they are not going to make profit. They are just going to take it because they don't know that, okay, fine. They just want to be engaged because it's from one engagement that will bring another project. That's exploitation. You understand? There's no how you want to paint it. It's a very bad something. Yes, but you can exploit and still be a very good guy. But you know, in Nigeria, no, our people know they do that kind of thing. You understand? They just want to make you work and work and work till you faint. God will help us. God will help us. Here, we got a new project with better rating, so we just carry the old project and carry and give another person. I beg. This project they waste our time. Nobody say we will even make profit. Sef. I beg more carry and give another person, make them do. And make them do that. So you have shared that. You have shared that. Enhance. If we finish this project on time, it will save us more cost. Example, maybe you have a client that anytime you send a bill to, anytime you tell them, say, Baba, look, our project, our project, we need additional money. He approves it. He tells you, okay, no, I'm going to send you the money. But it takes 2 weeks before he will send the money. Anytime you tell him there is a change, when you send it to him, he will approve. But before that money will come, it will take 2 weeks. Now, short bank are saying will send you that money. So you have a project that's ongoing and you have checked the weather condition. As you don't check weather condition, if rain start falling now, it will impact in your project. Within now and that next 2 weeks, you have done your analysis, you have seen that rain will fall like 3 times. And if that rain falls like 3 times, by the time that money comes, that guy has approved, by the time the money comes, you find out that you will now spend extra. So what do? You decided to source for that fund elsewhere. You decided to source for that money elsewhere and put it on the project. So when you put it on the project, you were able to finish up that project within the time frame. By the time that money comes, when it comes, you're able to now send it back to for where you source out the money. That's you enhancing the situation. You understand? So that's an example of you enhancing the situation. Of course, we spoke about acceptance. You don't see say this risk na your own. You don't get as you want to be. You must just do it and just find a way to do it. Then contingency response, like we said, plan B. Where do we fall back to when something goes wrong or when something goes right? What do we fall back to? And that's plan B. So, and that's how you go ahead and respond to this response strategy. So, one of the things you want to do after you have been able to identify all of you have planned for all of your risk rather, is for you to involve a third party, which is plan procurement management. Me and you know say all of the works we do for our project, only me no go fit do am. There are other people that needs to come and do the job, only me no go fit do am. So you start planning for third parties. So you begin to invite them. You understand? You begin to invite them to come into your project. You tell them what they are going to do for you in that project. And the way you can go about it is for you to prepare a document, statement of work, SOW, or terms of reference, TRO. You understand? If you are doing a project with any organization, always look out for these two things, a statement of work or terms of reference. You always see it. So you also need to prepare a high level cost estimate to determine the budget. Remember, we spoke about it. You have been able to estimate your activity. You have been able to define your list of activities. You have account an amount you are going to spend. And when after you account an amount you are going to spend, if you sum up everything, it gives you a budget. So you need to prepare a high level cost estimate to determine the budget. Now, high level cost estimate means that you must consider three, we call it three-point estimating method, where you go to the market, you find out price from 3 different vendors, you add them together and it gives you an average. And that's what we used to do then. If we are preparing a bill of quantity, that time when I was still with the United Nations, if we are preparing a bill of quantity, we usually have a template, a cost template, where every of these costs has been itemized, and we have sourced out 3 different cost variation from different vendors. Then we'll now put it on an average and we use it for our budgeting. You understand? So every now and then that document is always reviewed. So anytime I want to prepare bill of quantity, we'll go back and ask, is there an updated list of price list? Yes, I think that's what we call it. And they'll your supervisor will say, yes, because dollar went up, so some things has changed. So this is the updated one. So you use that updated list to prepare your high level estimated document. You understand? So that's what we do. Then, of course, you go ahead and advertise the opportunities, because, of course, vendors are not going to know that you have a job for them, not unless you advertise it. Then the fourth thing you are doing is for you to identify a shortlisted candidate for that project, those who are going to come in as vendor. Then, of course, you prepare and issue bid document. Yes, That bid document helps them to know how they bid for that project knowledgeably. Knowledgeably means they are bidding with the full knowledge of what they are coming to do on that project. So that's how you go about planning procurement. And of course, plan stakeholders engagement. Hey, plan stakeholders engagement is all about communication. How do you want to handle your stakeholders in terms of engagement? You remember we talk about stakeholders mapping. Some people like you to call them, some people like you just drop the message on the group chat abeg. Just the way we have some persons who are presently in our training session. Well, I don't go feel meet up with 7:30 a.m. class, so or maybe even 9:30 a.m. class. I don't go feel meet up. So what will happen be say anything we wanna do for class, I beg just help me drop them for the platform. And once you drop them, I go pick them from there. Do you understand? So you have done stakeholders mapping. You already know what each stakeholders want. So what you need to do is just to find out the communication style you are going to use in engaging your stakeholders. You know, past like that, stakeholders engagement is just all about communication. You understand? Basically, it's all about communication. And this is where we come to the end of our 24 processes when it comes to running a project. So far, we have been able to take two processes in initiation, um, 24 processes in planning. That means 26 processes. So all of these are discussion we don't do since day one. Now only 26 processes we don't do. That's to tell you how junk of a work it is for you to plan for your project. So we are now going to be switching to the execution phase of our project. Yes, that's where we are going to next. I have shared the manual on our platform, so please feel free to go and open that execution part of our project. So let's go. Let me share my screen now. Okay. Okay. So we're going to be looking at the 10 processes involved in running our projects, in executing our projects. Just a moment, the system has decided to hang on again. Yeah. All right. Let me just do this quickly. Yes, I can share now. So let's take this question. Let's take this question. Yes, let me call out someone to read for us. Let's take this question. Yes, Mercy. Yes, Mercy, please read this PMP sample question, please. Mercy, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please read the project management sample question for us.
It says the project aims to investigate the feasibility of constructing a hydraulic dam from a technical, economical, and social point of view. The project character created by the project manager on behalf of the project sponsor is now approved. Which of the following processes should be formed next? Choose the best answer. A. Develop project management plan. B. Identify risks. C. Identify stakeholders. And D. Develop project character.
Thank you very much. So please go to the chat box and drop in your answer. Go to the chat box, drop in your answer. What is the best answer for this? What is the best answer? What is the best answer? Yes. What is the best answer? 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 Those of us online, please, what is the best answer? Those of us who are going to be listening to this recording, please also, you can feel free to comment on the comment section under the video. What is the best answer? Yes, with the response I've gotten, I am very, very happy. It shows that all that we have been discussing for the past three weeks is really understood, and I'm happy with this feedback. Me, particularly, I'm excited. I'm happy with this feedback. Thank you very much. I'm not going to mention the answer just because of those who are going to watch the video later, so that they can be able to go through the video by themselves and also respond. Once your project plan is ready, which is what we just finished, once your project document is set, which is what we just did, you are good to go in terms of execution of your project. If there are issues coming up, they will unfold themselves and you will deal with them accordingly as they come up. So what are the 10 processes involved? What are the 10 processes involved in executing our project? When it comes to execution, there are 10 things that we need to do. There are 10 things that we need to do in order for us to execute our project successfully. Take note of this important point. These are the 10 processes involved in executing a project. Now, let's take them one after the other. Direct and manage project work is the first thing we need to do. What does this mean? The main question is, what really happens during execution? Direct and manage project work, it means for you to supervise and ensure that your team are carrying out the activities that has been assigned to them. And very importantly, the project activities are being carried according to plan. We have a plan, so all your activity must be towards our plan. You must carry out your activity with our plan. You must not do anything else outside the plan. So when you look through, what are the things you need to do when execution is ongoing? You perform activities to accomplish project requirements. You create project deliverables. Deliverable means result. At the point of execution, you staff and train and manage the team members that you have assigned to different projects. You want to also obtain, manage, and use resources, including materials, tools, equipment, and facilities. You also want to implement the plan, the method, and the standard, the strategies you have put in place to ensure that your project is delivered successfully. You want to establish and manage project communication channel, both external and internal, to the project team, to the stakeholders, like we mentioned. As execution is ongoing, what will be happening is that you are generating data. Results will be coming up. You understand? Such as cost, schedule, technical and quality progress, status of facilitation, to facilitate forecasting. If result is coming up, just a moment, just let me be sure that my slide is up. So if result is coming up, if you are working every day, we are expected that you'll be generating results. Some things will be coming up. For example, we started our project management discussion, I think on the 7th of March or so. So far we are in execution. So result has been coming up. You understand? So result has been coming up. So you always be coming up with results. So you are giving us those data. Where are we in our schedule? We are in week 4 of our project management discussion. Where are we in our human resource management discussion? We are going to end our class in human resource management discussion today. So those are results. You understand? Now, when you see changes happening in your projects, you go ahead and request for change. You understand? You make change requests, what we call change requests. You are also going to manage risk and implement risk responses. That's what we have discussed in our planning process. Those risks that you anticipated, they are beginning to show face. How far you go manage them? You're also going to manage your vendor. Remember, one of our risk response strategy was for us to invite a third party. The third party where you bring into your project, you are going to manage them. There's a contract agreement between you and the seller, you and the vendor. You are going to manage. Of course, you are going to collect and document lessons you have learned on that project and implement an approve process to improve activity for the next project. You understand? So those are the things that will come up, and those are the things you need to actually do when they do come up. Now, when you are directing and managing project work, yes, there are things that will likely come up. You understand? Errors will come up. And when errors come up, you need to make some changes. You need to make change requests. Now, there are 3 reasons why you may need to make that changes. One of those 3 reasons is that it could be that because you have seen things in the project plan that is not workable. Remember, we plan, so some things may not work. So what you need to do is to make correction. And that is what we call corrective action. You understand? You have seen that this thing will not work, so you make corrective action. It could also be that as I'm doing my project work, I'm also forecasting and seeing trend of things. And if we continue in that trend, we may not end up at the desired place. Remember, there was a need for the project. If at the end of the day, our project does not meet the need, it means that project has failed. So if we find out that the way we are going is not going to meet the need, we might actually prevent it. You understand? So what do? We activate preventive action by making change requests. We ask for change to be made. You understand? When we do that, we call it preventive action. Then the third reasons why we may actually request for change, why we may go for change requests, is defect and repair. You understand? We can make change requests simply because we make mistakes. It is expected that as a human being, we can make mistakes. Maybe so we are human beings, so we can make mistakes. You understand? We can make mistakes. So when we see it, it is very, very important that we go back and repair it. Please do not always build on error. When you build on error, small error, now will result in major breakdown. I think when we come to monitoring and controlling, we will see how a project manager who abandons his team members, by the time he came back, you will see how much he has incurred on that project, how much more money he has incurred on that project. You understand? So some of these mistakes, some of them is something you can easily fix. Why not go ahead and fix it? If it does not require you to go and then be writing to the sponsor for change request. If it is something minor, why not just go ahead and do it? You understand? So those are the 3 bases why you may actually want to make change requests. Of course, the input for direct and managed project work is the same as the ones we have been seeing, but of course, let's go to the techniques. Yes, remember, expert judgment has surfaced himself again. We all know what expert judgment means. So what project management is all telling us is that, oh boy, look, any project where you do, you must ask questions. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine yesterday. He's also a consultant, he's also researching for universities in the UK, Canada, and all of that. So when he saw a post I made on my status, and he reached out to me, I was like, oh boy, you are consulting for this universities abroad. I said, yes I do. He said, that's what he does too, and all of that. So we now started talking about rate and all of that. You get? So I even started asking him some questions. He was also giving me some feedback. He was also asking me some questions how he can become member of the Project Management Institute and all of that. You get? So what this means, what am I trying to say? When it comes to project management, you always meet people and ask questions. That's just the whole idea of the thing. You meet people, ask questions. What do you think I can do about this? Have you done similar project before? And all of that, you get. So basically, in your project, expert judgment is a constant techniques or strategy you will use Yes, you understand. So project management information system is saying have a strategy of organizing your project management information. You can have a central system where you keep the information about your project, so you make it accessible for every of your stakeholders. It can be a WhatsApp group, WhatsApp platform, so on as the case may be. And we have also mentioned that meeting cannot be overemphasized. Meeting is a good avenue for us to see how our project is going. It's a bigger picture of to see how our project is going. I think I was handling a project in Bellevue phase 3 when we held a meeting, and I represented my organization then in that meeting, and the turnout on that meeting was very low. So one of the contractor so sorry. So one of the contractor was now making emphasis on why meetings are very, very important. He was making emphasis on it. And what did he say? He said they were in a meeting one day, and they were having stakeholders meeting where even both all of the workers were in the meeting. And the project sponsor actually came to site, and he saw somebody working. The person was working. So the project sponsor, unknown to the worker, is his project sponsor. So he walked up to him and said, oh boy, how far now? This one where you work. I think they get meeting for day. So the worker was like, Oga, that meeting no be for me, oh, that meeting are for the Oga. Me, this meeting now for me to do my own work, make I come out. So on hearing that, the sponsor called the project manager and said, how come this guy is working? He said he told him that there is going to be a meeting, so he was supposed to be in the meeting. And before you know, the sponsor said, how much is this guy's money? Calculate him, pay him, let him go. It means that this kind of person is not going to listen to us whenever we are making changes. Now, why was the reason why the sponsor had to let him go is because in that meeting that they are holding, you don't know whether they are changing the spec of that thing is working on. There's possibility that they are changing the design. There's possibility that what they plan for again, they don't need change them, because we said we can always go back and make changes in our plan that we have just done. So if this guy continues to work in error, what it means is that it's incurring us additional cost. You understand? So you have to let him go. So the contractor made this example in our meeting, emphasizing on why meetings is important, because some contractors they feel that the meeting is not important, they just want to do their work and go. So in the organization, most of us have meeting on a weekly basis. Sometimes it's in the morning, on Mondays, sometimes it's on Fridays, and that meeting just gives us an overview of how our project is going to go. I think for us in Galaxy Backbone, when I was in Abuja, when we're doing an interior finishing work for Galaxy Backbone, somewhere close to Nitel Junction. Yes, our meeting usually held every Monday, where we'll discuss progress of work and see areas that's behind and see what we can do next to ensure that we meet up with our deadline and all of that. So in your organization, please, there will be a different time for meetings. Please always attend meetings. It's very, very important. It gives us a bigger picture of how our project is going. You understand? And on that meeting, we can begin to also see areas where we can assist other team members. Let's say, for example, we have 3 teams who are handling 3 different activities. Team A has finished the activity, Team B has finished the activity, but Team C is lacking behind. So Team A and Team B can decide to assist Team C to find out, to help them see how they can finish their work on time, so that the entire project does not delay. Because if Team C does not deliver, it means that it will also affect Team B and Team A, because you guys are working on one project. You understand? So meetings are very, very important. So these are the techniques we use during our supervision of direct and management project work. At the end of the day, what result are you going to have? You are going to have deliverables. Yes, results are coming up. You are going to have work performance data. You are telling us how long you have spent on the project. You are telling us the percentage you have gone on the project. You are going to have issues log. Yes, problem will come. You go get that issue log where you don't feel one or two challenges that you have faced. You are also going to have change requests. You have seen some plan and that is not going to work, so you have written to the sponsor, Baba Alpha, abeg o, you go help us change some things for this place. So you understand, you have to help us and change some things on this our plan. You understand? And once change request is done, project management plan is also updated because you have made some changes, so you need to update the project management document plan. Yes. So organizational process asset is also updated and all of that. Then the next thing we want to do in execution is for us to direct our project knowledge, manage project knowledge rather. Manage project knowledge means if you manage a project, you need information to get things done the right way. Some of this information, you have it documented in your project management plan, and some of them you don't have it. And you may need to consult people, which is the expert judgment within the conference of expert judgment. You consult people. Now, these people can be inside the organization, they can be outside the organization. So, manage project knowledge is simply saying that take advantage of every information within and outside the organization that will be beneficial for your project. You understand? Let's say, for example, let me see those who are here. Yes. So Favor is a professional. Favor is a professional baker. She has been baking for the past 5 years. In fact, she has even gotten projects. She has even gotten a government contract for her to bake. Then we have Azizat. Azizat has also been in the baking industry for the past 5 years. Also, she has all the equipment. Yes, she has also been teaching young persons on how they can bake cake. She has been going from school to school and she has been impacting knowledge. Then we have Raymond. Raymond deals in all kinds of German cars. Talk about the Mercedes Benz, talk about the BMWs. You understand? That's what Raymond's dealing. Then, of course, Olamigoke has now gotten a contract with the federal government for her to actually bake cake for 2,000 persons. So Olamigoke is a friend to Favor. She's also a friend to Azizat. Did I mention Azizat name or Messi? She's also a friend to Messi. Then also a friend to Raymond. Yes. So Messi and Favor are in the baking industry. They have years of experience. They have all of the equipment. Raymond is a car dealer. He deals in all kinds of German cars. You understand? BMW and so on. Among Messi, Favor, and Raymond, who should Olamigoke go to for advice? Who should he go to for advice? You can use the chat box, please. Who should she go to for advice? Who should she go and seek knowledge from? Olamigoke has gotten a project. She has gotten a contract for her to bake for 2,000 persons. Her friend is Favor. Her friend is also Messi. Messi and Favor are into the baking industry. They have been doing it for the past 5 years. Olamigoke is also friends with Raymond. Raymond deals all kinds of German cars. You understand? Mercedes, Benz, BMWs. So now Olamigoke has a project baking. Among these 3 friends, who should she go to? Who will she be going to? Who will she be going to? Yes, thank you very much. We'll be going to Messi and Favor. Olamigoke will be going to Messi and Favor. Why? Why is she going to Messi and Favor? Why is she going to Messi and Favor? Yes, Favor, you may want to unmute your mic and answer because you're the first person that responded. Why is she? Why Why will Olamigoke be coming to you and Mercy?
Okay, good morning, sir. Okay, she will be coming to us because we actually have the experience. We are dealing in the same field, so we understand better. If she has any questions, she would want to ask.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for that feedback. So that's what we call managed project knowledge. Yes. So she has seek opinion of people who are in that industry. If she goes to Raymond no go tell her anything because Raymond go just tell her, say, see, this German car, this one just come, this one is latest, this one is this one, if you break the screen, the thing they repair himself. You understand? So that information is not what she needs. But maybe when she's now done with the project, what will now happen? Olamide is done with the project. She has made over 100 million profits because how far my guy Raymond, how they be now? Oh boy, I need correct car, I need German. Then that's when Raymond can come in place. So that time she cannot go and seek opinion from Favor and Mercy because they are not dealing with cars. You understand? So that's what we mean by managed project knowledge. I think when we buy electronics, we usually see manuals inside it. And when you go through that manual, it's also within managing of project knowledge. You want to know about it. So what are the techniques for us to manage project knowledge? Of course, expert judgment, we just mentioned it. Knowledge management is going to the right source, going to the right people that will actually give you that information. Then information management, you understand. What do you need? What information do you need for you to be able to manage that project? What industrial information do you think you need? Who do you think that knows so much that can be of help to you? That's where interpersonal skills also come in place. As a leader that you are, or as a project manager that you are, it means that you must be somebody that listens. You must have you must be able, you must have the ability to listen. You must have that ability to listen. Just listen. Listen to complaint. Just hear the complaint. You understand? Because if I come to you and I'm seeking opinion, imagine Olamigoke went to Mercy and Favor and is asking the how far. And this baking when I get safe. And they say that 2,000 people I'm going to supply. And I don't even know the kind of cake I'm going to bake. Sir. Anyway, as I'm thinking of the kind of cake I'm going to bake, I'm thinking that I should do small chops. I'm thinking that I should do this one. I'm thinking I should do that one. I'm thinking I should. What you need to do as Favor and Mercy is just to listen to her. When you listen, now even you, when you are done talking, you also need to listen. Because when you continue to talk, when do you expect Mercy and Favor to give you feedback? They will just tire for your talk. Okay, you be like say you don't even know what you want to say. Well, go and do it. You understand? So as a project manager, you must be someone who listen actively. Very, very important. You listen actively. When Olamigoke now listen actively, she'll be able to deliver beyond expectation because she has people who are guiding her. So active listening is one of them. Facilitation is one of those skills that we beg you to have. You understand? If you know that facilitating discussion, having focus group discussion, discussing with people just the way we are doing right now is a big problem, please, I beg you, join the public speaking and presentation class. Yes, join the public speaking and presentation class and so that you can gain confidence. It's very, very important because as a project manager, you are leading team. It's about leadership. And this training with Leveler Consulting, the slogan is leadership, lead. And if you notice from the beginning of our day one discussion, I was telling you that I'm going to lead your discussion in project management. You understand? Lead is about leadership. Okay, that reminds me, Lontina from Johannesburg, a project manager, she was actually supposed to be the one to facilitate this execution discussion with you guys. But unfortunately, she has a workshop today. A guy from the US they need to attend to is around. Usually they don't work on Saturdays, but unfortunately they will just call in. She actually made mention that I should send her warm regards and apologize that she couldn't come in today. She was supposed to be joining us from South Africa in training because Of course, in as much as I'm leading the discussion, it is also good that we also have other facilitators from different environments who can also relate their experience. You understand? And since we are discussing project management knowledge areas, those are the applications Leveler Consulting Limited is also putting in place. Hopefully, by the next session, she'll be able to join us. And some of us who are still here, who will also have the opportunity to join that class, why not? We can have the opportunity to listen to her and hear what her experiences and what we can benefit from it. So as a project manager, sorry for the little digress, but as a project manager, just know that it's about leadership. You are going to be leading people. You will provide leadership. You understand? So your leadership skills need to come in place. You need to put in your leadership skills. You need to influence people. You understand? Networking is very, very important. Please, social capital, build your social capital. Social capital is very, very important. I have done some couple of jobs with some clients. I have never seen them. In fact, a project on our low-cost housing project, the guy was in United States. He came in, I think, 3 weeks ago because I traveled to Abuja just to see him. We have been on discussion for the past over 1 year. And when he came in, he was like, Solomon, look, when I come to Nigeria, I need you to come to Abuja so that we can see one-on-one. You understand? That's that's the power of networking. I don't know him, he doesn't know me. We have not seen, somebody just connected me with him, and that was it. We started doing business. In fact, I had this guy on when we were still doing black market on Pi Network, because we were buying Pi and selling Pi. I think somebody was asking me last time when they came to the office because they saw the Pi logo hanging on our wall, because also Pi is one of our co-sponsor of Leveler Consulting Limited. Yes, Pi is also sponsoring us and in our project with you guys. So we're doing business, and I've done, I think, over 20 to 30 million business transactions with this guy, and I have not seen him. Yeah, this guy will never see. It's somebody that connected us. So social capital is a value that you need to build. It's like you owning a bank and you have money inside it. So, and that's why we encourage you. You see that chat box that we have in our community? Use it, communicate, interact. You understand? That's the essence of it. Interact. But of course, let it be subjective based. Let it be based on something very, very important. Not just a random discussion. Let it be productive. You understand? And that's why we build network. Because tomorrow, Favor, who maybe may need a service of an architect, may easily just reach out to one of us. We don't have any architects in the house. Please, I want you to look at this project. You understand? I have some group of clients in United Kingdom, University of Hertfordshire, that I also consult for. These guys, I've not seen them. It's only one of them. And the one of them that I actually know before she left for UK, I didn't even see her. It was online. We're just having a conversation like this online. And she reached out to me and said, look, I have a project from this university and I want you to consult for us. I want you to be part of the team. And basically that's it. You understand? So in as much as I am also running a day-to-day with Leveler Consulting Limited, I also have other projects I am also working on without even seeing the person. So it is very, very important. Build social capital. Build social capital. When you are traveling, when you enter a flight, the next person that is sitting beside you, I beg you, try to get to know his or her name. You understand? And for our ladies, please, when a guy is asking you how far, how you doing now, what's your name and all of that, you know me say this guy won't shake you. It doesn't automatically translate that this guy want to ask you out. So please, be flexible in this your defense mechanism. But wait till this one they try talk, I beg shift, waiting safe. Please be flexible. At least even if you feel say this guy won't shake you, let him make him talk. Because you know they inside in mind. You don't know waiting they in mind. Make him ask you out first before you can say, okay, so now waiting you want with that. And guys, please, not every lady that comes to your to your cycle that you must date. How about now? And no be everyone, no be everybody. When your name is not Solomon like my own, you understand? I'm not saying that's what I do, anyways. I'm just saying what Solomon before did, before you use it against me. You understand? It is not every woman that comes across your cycle that you must ask out. You understand? Maintain some sense of decency. You get? Run a project with female colleagues without any attachment, without any feelings attached to it. You understand? Very, very important. Very, very important. So please, and guys, when you see a lady coming to you, notice because say like if you get one or two things where she won't benefit, you understand? Maybe in terms of projects, she wants you to help her and plan some projects. She wants you to help her and see how she can execute some projects. And you now you don't read meaning into it and all of that. You get? Say lady, the carry food can't give you. Say me you chop. No me say she want me on a date to no. You understand? Yes, in as much as we understand that in this environment, women don't ask our guys out, you should also be able to know when a lady likes you and you take over from that point. You understand? After she don't show you different signs, because women that we know in Nigeria, they will never open their mouth and tell you that they like you, that you people should be dating. They are only rare. You understand? And if you betray their trust, when one or two persons come out and tell you that they like you and you betray their trust, oh boy, some people will tell you, some girls that I've met, they will tell you they would rather swallow stone than ask any guy out. So please, guys, let's be emotionally intelligent. Let's take advantage of whatever opportunity that comes so that we can build our network. Political awareness. When we talk about political awareness, hey, we are not talking about APC, AGC, CDP, or this one. No, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about who owns authority, who has the ability to cut the shot. Yes. Who get mouth to say if the person talks, now like this, you go be, now so you go be. We call it boardroom politics. In your organization, you get person who, if they talk like this, back down, now so you go be. No shaking. There's nothing you can do about it. You understand? So those are the kind of people you now need to get close to. Because you know that when they are by your side, if they talk anything, waiting will stop. You say, if they agree with you, that thing what you want me to do, they will do it. You understand? Other people will follow, other people will emulate. If they talk like this person, and so you go be, and so you go be. So if you are friends with them and you have something that you want to work, you just go to them and you make your point known. And once they back you up, oh Shikena, your what you want will happen. So that's political awareness. So we call it politics, boardroom politics. We call it, it is everywhere, it is every organization. Go and check. Do internal audit. You yourself, just do internal audit. Strategically look. You will see say politics there. You will see say some people they're very close to some people. Those are politics. You understand? Those are boardroom politics. You understand? So you need to be politically aware. Very, very important. At the end of the day, you have a document, lesson learned, project management plan is updated, the organizational process asset is also updated. The next thing you want to do is to acquire resources. We have said that resources means three things: labor, material, and equipment. At what point do you begin to acquire resources? It's at the point of execution. Execution won't start. Oga, how far? Those 10 people where you tell me say, I go get, how far? You don't give me 6 from organization. It remain 4 what we say we go need to source out. You don't put adverts. Have we started doing interview? Because at the point of acquiring resources, that's when you begin, that's when recruitment happens. The equipment, how far, will be discussed with equipment manager. He says some equipment will be available for me because we have a resource calendar that tells us when this equipment is going to be available, when the other one is not going to be available. We have a resource calendar. How far? The equipment still intact? Have you serviced it? Is it intact? Is it ready to work? Yes. Is it available for work? Is it going to deliver what we need to deliver? Now, all of these things you are doing is at the point of execution. You are acquiring resources. How far? And the vendor was supposed to deliver our material. How far? How in the be? In the deliver material, I say, okay, yes, fine. You are acquiring resources and all of that. Our vendor that is supposed to comment the construction of our shelter, how far? How many has he done and all of that? You understand? And now, most times, organizations prefer to acquire resources from outside. That's just the truth. And if you check well, it is safe when organizations prefer to acquire resources from outside. What does that tell you? It tells you that when organization is acquiring resources, it's helping them to save costs. You understand? It's helping them to save costs. It is profitable to them. Imagine you decide to buy an equipment. That's an overhead cost. If you go and buy a new equipment, it's an overhead cost. First thing first, when you buy an equipment, you think of warehouse where you keep them. You will think of maintenance, how you are going to maintain it. You think of security, who is going to protect it. When it comes to hiring of labor too, the human capacity of our resources, what happens? You begin to worry about pension. You begin to worry about insurance. You begin to worry about wardrobe allowance. You begin to worry about so many things. But if it is a contract staff, our agreement is only based on the contract. Nothing goes beyond our contract. That's all. So whether anything happened to them or not, it don't really concern you. So when we say acquire resources, it simply means get the equipment, get the labor, get the material, get your team members, get the facilities needed. Resources can be external, they can be internal. Just make sure that you get them. Some of your team members will also be recruited from the organization, like I already mentioned, and some others will be sourced from outside. So at the point of execution, just go ahead, get all of your resources that you need. And how you go about getting your resources is decision making. You understand? You sit with the MD, you sit with the CEO, how far? We need 10 people. We can only source 6 people from the organization. How are we going to recruit the rest of the 4 persons? You sit down and you discuss. Then the second one is interpersonal team skills. You are going to negotiate the right kinds of person for your project. Attitude is one of the first things you want to consider when you are negotiating the kind of people in your project. This person will won't come into our project. Now, team player, is it going to be a team player or now somebody will go give us problem? You understand? What kind of attitude does this person possess? You understand? You need to actually put that in place. And when it comes to acquiring of our resources, especially when it comes to material, one of the 3 things we want to consider when we are making decision or when we are doing analysis on our decision is that we want to check for availability of that resources. Is that resources going to be available throughout the course of our project? We also want to check the location of that resources. What's the location of this geographical location of these our resources? Is it very far that if we finish today, for us to get, it will delay us? You also want to consider costs. Cost is also another criteria you need to consider when you are making decision. And when it comes to people, like as I was mentioning, you need to negotiate the right kind of people for your team. Attitude is very, very important when it comes to selection criteria of acquiring resources. Attitude, very, very important. One of the interpersonal skills that you also need is your negotiation skill. How many of us have followed our mother to the market? If your mother has a very good negotiation skill, that's something you need to borrow. Raymond is raising his hand that he has accompanied his mother to the market. Your mother, they will tell you, say, when you go market, maybe they shade 5 tubers of yam. The seller would say, this 5 tubers of yam is 5,000. That is to say 1,000 naira each tuber. But our parents will price it. They may even tell you, green 1.5 for the 5 tuber. And you, shame will come even they catch you. Say, as how now? Shame, you'll be running behind. Say, the 5 tuber, and my mother the price, something where they say 5,000, my mother the price am. My mother the price am 1.5. Shame go first catch you, you go there. But that's negotiation skill. You understand? You must be able to negotiate. You must know how to negotiate. Very, very important. You must know how to negotiate. You understand? Negotiation skills, very, 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 very important. And of course, when you are running a project, some of your team members, what will happen? Some of your team members, you may not have them in one location. Presently, we are running a project on project management course. We have Favor is in Alede. We have, I think Azizat is in Makodi here. We have some of our friends in Boko. We have some in Otukpo. You understand? But we are running a project. We are running a project management discussion. So in your project, know that some of your team members will operate virtually. Yes, they may not be in the same location with you. Just like as I've mentioned, most of the people I do businesses with, most of them are not in Nigeria. You understand? So have it in mind that you are going to do what? Have it in mind that you are also going to manage a team that are not in one location. So how do you go about acquiring resources? Physical resources will always be assigned. When we'll talk about resource calendar, the resource calendar helps us to know when resource is going to be available to us. Let's say, I think we made mention of Zainab. Zainab is in 3 projects, Project A, Project B, Project C. I'm a project manager of Project C. There's a project manager of Project A, there's a project manager of Project B. So Zainab is the only accountant we have in our organization. And because we don't want to recruit, because we want to save costs, Zainab is running through the financial record of the 3 projects. So I'm going to need Zainab at some point. The resource calendar now tells me when Zainab is going to be available in my project. The resource calendar tells the other project manager when Zainab is going to be available for them. You understand? Whenever you hear anything pre-assigned, what it means is that the sponsor, when giving out his resources, the sponsor has already pre-assigned some people that you are going to work with. For example, you said you need 10 persons as your labor to work with you in your project. And you now hear a statement like, oh boy, manager Favor, I have these 2 guys that are also that are doing IT with me. I want you to put them in your project. When you hear a statement like that, it means that your team member has been pre-assigned. Some of your resources has been pre-assigned. When you hear a statement like, oh, Favor, Alpha, I still get like 300 bags of cement for my warehouse. So come carry those ones first to use for the project first before we begin to use the new one where they want supply. When you hear things like that, it means some resources has been pre-assigned. You understand? So that's how acquiring resources may go. And of course, there are other things like change requests and all of that. Those things may also come up. You understand? Now, let me also share with us, change request is constant. It will always come up. For example, when I went for my service, because I studied architecture, architecture is my background. Yes, that's my background. When I went for service, because I didn't really have time during my year in school for us to actually meet a lot of persons. When I went for service, I decided to say I needed to explore. Now, when I went for orientation camp, my main purpose was going to camp was for me to go and look for a wife. That was just the truth. Find wife in camp. That was it. Now, the reason you will be asking me, so all of your years that you spend in school, so you don't have 1 or 2 persons that you have been talking to that you can actually pick as a wife. The truth is, architecture is very demanding. We hardly have social life. So even it's not as if we don't even have girls within the department. But after first semester, the girls that we have in the department, they begin to look like men like us. You understand? All of us, we are together. You get? So we don't see them as somebody we need to start shooting our shot at. So what happened is I said, okay, fine. When I go to camp, I'm going to find a wife. Now, I beg you, I want to ask this question. How do you find wife in camp within 3 weeks? I heard that it's possible because they say there's love at first sight. So immediately I got to camp because I happened to be one of the first persons in camp. Yes, I think I was 034. So I happened to be one of the first person. Immediately when they blow that what they call a bingo, someone will go to parade ground. As I got to parade ground, everywhere was scanty, but I was scanning. I was scanning. So that was when I now discovered that it's not only me that had project execution. There are other guys who were also there to look for wives too. You understand? So what happened? I now find out that if I'm plotting my graph towards a certain person, another person too is plotting his graph towards that person. And at the end of the day, the graph is now intersecting at a point. And I say, okay. And you know, the funny thing about orientation camp is that every day, new people come in. And the orientation camp is in Abuja. So you expect that more people will come in. So when you have plot your graph towards a particular maybe girl that you want to go and maybe start having a discussion with, you will see another one that will appear the next day. You say, oh boy, be like say that first one where I don't want to go talk to, I go need to relax. So other ones still they come. So for days, I continue to do that. At the end of the year, and I say, no. How can you find wife under 21 days? So what I did was to make friends with anybody that I could make friends with. I had friends in platoon 1, platoon 2, platoon 3, platoon 4, platoon 5, platoon 6, all across the platoon. In fact, some people were wondering if I was in their platoon, whereas I had my own platoon and all of that. At the end of the day, I got all of this contact and I said to myself, one day I will just scroll through my WhatsApp. Anybody where I just see, I will just say, okay, this one, now I go marry. Does anybody care to know how that project is going? Anybody care to know how that project is going?
Yes, sir. We want to know.
Yes,
You want to
so
know? You want to know? So we have
Yes, sir.
Insta blog in the house. We have Insta blogs in the house. We have what's the other one? How many of us remember this song that they sang? I see the wrong kitty kitty. I see the wrong kata kata. Then there's also another song that backed that song up that says adulthood na scam. So if you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, you forget about it. You understand? The truth is that it's not going to be easy, but that's how the project is going. You understand? What's the point? The point is that in every of your projects, right, there may be changes. If you notice, I wanted to get a wife in camp, but when I found out the way it was going, I decided to change the approach. So in your project, there will always be change. So you write to your sponsor for change requests. I think when we get to monitoring and controlling, we are going to be looking at perform integrated change control that tells us the processes we need to take for us to actually make change requests. When you're executing your project, you need to also develop your team. Yes, you need to develop your team because this resource has been provided for you. You need to develop your team. Now, you need to bear in mind that some of your team members may not have the competence, the capability, the ability to deliver work on the spot. You must have that in mind. You understand? So part of your execution effort as a project manager is to ensure that you provide a platform for your team members in order for them to be able to learn. And I remember this, back in 2011, I was working with a firm, is a legal firm. Yes, and I remember that my tapping skill was so poor that the head of the legal team asked me that, say, hope you are willing to work, hope you want to develop yourself, hope you are ready, hope you are willing. And she gave me an opportunity. And after a year, she said, if Solomon is not in this office, I will run into trouble. That is because I begin to give in high performance. And it was because she developed me. She allows me to actually develop myself. So part of your execution work is for you to develop your team. What does that mean? It means that provide them with the opportunity for them to enhance their ability to deliver. Yes. Most organizations, when they recruit staff members, you see them, they will attach them to older staff so that they will be able to get trained. They may attach them 2 months, 1 week, 2 weeks, all depending on how fast the person can pick up. You understand? So when it comes to team development phase, this is how it's going to go. This is how it's going to go. There are 5 stages in your team that is going to go. The first stage is forming. Your team members are happy, they are excited. Oh boy, this project where they put me inside, I'm on incentive today. Oh boy, the last time when I worked for this kind of project, oh boy, I know how much I carry go. In fact, now that last project where I do now, I even buy land, start foundation. So this one where they don't put me for this project, that means I go feel roof my house with this project. You know, a lot of people are excited, especially when you are the project manager and you put them in that team. They are excited, they are happy that they are on that project. That's the forming stage. You understand? They are excited. So as a project manager, when you observe things like that, what do you need to do? You also need to join them and celebrate. You need to join them and celebrate. Make everybody there happy. Then the next thing that happens after the forming stage is storming. The team members begin to antagonize each other. Everybody is now looking for area of interest. You understand? They are looking for area of interest. That is where conflicting opinions begins to come in, just like what we said in our last class. Conflicting opinion. Hey, sit down. You don't know what you are talking about. Hey, sit down. I know what I'm talking about. And I actually experienced this in our Bellevue Phase 3 project. Backbone Galaxy Backbone project, not Bellevue. It's Backbone Galaxy. So my boss is an architect, and the project manager is an engineer. Yes, my boss comes from a background that, look, precision is a matter. If you are not working with precision, there's a problem. Me, if I draw straight line, I want the line to be straight. I don't want to make it bend. The project manager, who is an engineer on the other hand, is an engineer. He says, look, when we get stuck, let's find solution. If we have an error that has been built on, let's find a way to correct it, not for us to go and start from the scratch. So these were two conflicting people with two different backgrounds, and it caused chaos. And you begin to hear words like, Toye is telling architect Yusuf, Toye is saying, Yusuf, if you come to my site, you will not talk. If you see, my site is very clean, if you see the accuracy, you will know that it is human being that is working here. Engineer Yusuf will say, okay, oh yeah, break the whole building now, since you want us to correct all the errors. Break the whole building so that we can start from afresh. Is two of them correct? Yes. The truth is both of them are correct. Because the Galaxy Backbone project we're carrying out is an interior finishing. It means that the carcass, the structure, has already been built. And the contractor that built it, they have built and they have left. Our own is just to do an interior finish. If we see a minimal error that we can correct, we correct. If we see a major error that we cannot correct, we try to manipulate it and all of that. But there was a serious storming. They were storming each other, talking to each other. If you call, I say. So later, my boss, which happens to be the architect, will call me. He says, see that engineer Yusuf, I don't even understand you. Later, engineer Yusuf will call me. That your Oga, me, I know they understand now. So I was in the middle. But what can I do as somebody who is in the middle? It's not for me to take side. I didn't take side. One of the things you need to do, your strategic move, is for you to learn from both. Yes, you learn from both. So what am I saying in essence? In development of your team, there will be what? Storming. There will storm each other. Antagonism will come into place. You understand? It's very, very important for you to expect this part when you are developing your team. Yes, everybody is trying to look for interest. Then after storming, your team goes to the next phase we call numbing. Now, it's not as if the antagonism has entirely gone. No, there is still this little form of selfishness, but they are beginning to understand why they were formed as a team. And after that stage, they go to what we call performing. You understand? They begin to perform. And after all, this project, we just want to know we deliver at the end of the day. You understand? Everybody begin to perform. They begin to drop their pride. There's synergy. There's what we call esprit de corps, according to the military. Esprit de corps. There's collaboration. There's cohesion. A lot of people are now they are now collaborating just to ensure that they deliver the project. That's performance. Then at the end of the day, you adjourn. Adjourning means the project comes to a close. Remember that some persons were recruited because of that certain project. You understand? So you begin to have mixed feeling. Some people who are part of the organization will say, okay, fine, HR will go transfer us, go another project now. Now so it will be. Those who were recruited basically for that project, what will happen to them? Oh, but project don't finish, will they go house? That's what it means. You understand? And I've experienced this in all areas, because I've also been part of those who suffered from a short-term project. Yes, as soon as the project ended, as soon as there was no fun, they say, oh boy, work don't finish, maybe they go house. I think I was also recently speaking with one of my former colleagues, and he was telling me, oh boy, the way matter don't be now, they have told me that there's no contract extension and all of that. So it happens in all kind of contractual agreements, in all kind of projects. So you should expect, and that's why I always say this: whenever you are applying for a job, find out if that job is project based, because if it is project based, means that it has timeline. Remember, we mentioned that one of the characteristics of what defines a project is that there is a timeline, there is a schedule. So find out, is it project based? If it is project based, for how long? So that it will help you to manage your expectation. You understand? So adjourning happens and all of that. But then again, as a project manager, you must be able to look at something very, very important. You must be able to tell where your team members are on each of these development phase. You must be able to tell where your team members are. The psychological needs is one of those things. If you look at your screen, you see Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, what are the needs that you need to actually look out for when you are managing your team or when you are developing your team? You must look out for their physiological needs. Maslow's hierarchy is saying that, look, before anybody can begin to give you high performance, has his physiological needs been satisfied? Is clothing, is food, is shelter, is he already there? If it is not there, there's no way you can motivate this person. It's just like, let's put it this way, maybe today is Saturday, and you want to go for wedding. Maybe one of your team members wants to go for wedding. And then he's so excited. So the next thing your team member does is he look for red weave on. He looks for a red attire. He looks for red shoe. He looks for red spec. He looks for red handbag. He looks for red bangle. And he say, oh boy, this weekend I go paint my body red. Maslow's hierarchy of need is saying that if that your team member never chop, if on Monday he no seafood chop, maybe na only okpa him see. On Tuesday, he waka reach one of him friend house. That one say, oh boy, na eba and 3 days okra soup when I cook deal, he see and chop. On Thursday, he drank garri. On Friday, he will not be looking for red shoe, for red weave on, for red wristwatch, for red bangle, for red gown, saying that he's going to paint that Saturday red. That physiological needs need to be satisfied first. So check as a project manager, where is your team member in any of these scale you are seeing? Where is your team member here? Is your team member in the stage of physiological needs? Is your team member in terms of safety needs? Is your team member in terms of social needs? Social needs in this case is that when you walk into an organization, maybe they just recently employ you, you find out that some people want to be your friend, or you want to be friends with somebody. This is because you are trying to define your social status, your social class. Maybe as you resume, there was one video I saw on Instagram where the person is an intern. The intern will come work for organization. The intern that came to work. Sorry, sir, I'm in a class. I will call you right back. I'm having a session right now. Thank you very much. I will call you right back. So what example was I painting?
The intern.
Good. The intern came to the organization and she came with Benz. Not be today Benz, so the Benz, even the manager of the organization, even the owner of the organization, no, they ride that kind of Benz. Immediately, the guy came in and the manager was interviewing him, or the MDCO was interviewing him, and it was like, are you the one that came with that car? He said, yes. Oh boy, come and be going. Oh, I don't think I can employ you here because I will need to go and send you to go and buy me food, go and buy me bole. I will need to send you to go and print. You that. Okay, just a moment, guys. Okay, so sorry, guys. Just a moment. Just a moment, please. Let me see if I have they are requesting for something, so I just need to quickly send it. Or did I save this guy's number? Let me see if I have it. Sorry, guys. Just a moment, please.
So it's time for the next class.
I have sent it. No, it's the class. Next class is by 9:30. You didn't see the schedule? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's 9.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
it's by the next class is by 9, and the next class is by 9:30. So we still have about 28 minutes together. So let's resume. Let's continue. Let's continue. Yes. Yes. So we're saying that you need to find out where your team members are so that you'll be able to motivate them. Then when we call them manwaka, when it comes to casting, yes, when it comes to casting, like maybe when we are casting the floor, we're casting maybe suspended floor. We don't just hire any resource, any labor. We don't just hire any laborer. There are specific laborers who are specified for concrete work. You understand? We call them manwaka. Yes. So this is what they do. They work from morning, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's when they work. You understand? So towards the afternoon, they begin to get tired because concrete work is a very tedious work. So one of the things our head of medicine does, then you go and buy these sachet action bitters. You know, these sachet bitters, this alcoholic beverage. Just give, once you give it to them like this, bam, oh boy, somebody that is taking 30 seconds to walk, the person begins to move in 10 seconds, 5 seconds. That's motivation. What's the point? The point is, as a project manager, know the state of your team members so that you can motivate them. If you don't know the state of your team member, you cannot motivate them. That's just the truth. There are some team members that it is not money that motivates them. There are some team members, bring that money and the ginger. I think that one you will agree with most of us that that one the ginger us. You understand? There are some team members say, look, just give me internet, just give me a laptop, and I'm motivated to work. You understand? So as a project manager, please, it's so that you can. That theory, Herzberg's motivational hygiene theory. What this means is that, look, if we say we are going to have class this morning, and the class is not going to hold, or the class is going to hold, there was no internet for us to have our class. There was no platform for us to hold our session this morning. Will you be motivated to be in this class? Not at all, you will not. So what Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory is saying is that, look, for me to be motivated, I need to provide you with the things that you need to work. If you are going to an office and you want to go and work and you don't meet chair, you don't meet table, there is no laptop, there is no lights, will you be motivated to work? Will you be motivated to work? Please use the chat box. Will you be motivated to work? Will you be motivated to work? Work. If you don't see all of those things, will you be motivated to work? Yes, I'm waiting for a response. So. No sir, no sir, no sir, no motivation to work. So hygiene theory is saying, look, most of us, that's why I think most of us, when we're looking for place of our primary assignment, we're saying, oh boy, when I get accommodation. That was one of our first motivation. Okay, before I work for this organization, I want to know whether they get accommodation, because if they have accommodation, it makes life easier for me. It makes work very, very easier for me, right? Yes, so accommodation is the major thing. Accommodation is the key. Accommodation is the key motivation for you to work for an organization. You understand? So that's what Herzberg's motivational hygiene theory is saying. That look, you need to put something in place for me to be motivated. Yes.
I can hear you, sir.
Yes. So the next one is McGregor's theory X and Y. It says that, look, let me tell you something. There are two types of manager. Manager X believes that no matter what he put in place, he cannot motivate the team. Manager Y says, no, I trust my team, they can deliver. I trust them, let me go. They will deliver it. But in as much as you are manager Y, please, I beg you, communicate with your team. So that's how team development goes when it comes to our project on development of our team members. What is the next one, guys? The next one is to manage team. Hey, there is a word, loafing. L-O-A-F-I-N-G. Loafing. Loafing means you have a team member that is not contributing anything because it's a group work. Now, let me tell us, most of us have been engaged in group work, not so? There are people, you'll find like 3 categories of people in each group. The one that is very, very serious, overzealous. Then you find the one that is not serious, the one that is overzealous, and the one that is not serious at all. You always find them in the team. Work closely with them. If I start talking to you now, Rose, if I start talking to you, Rose, on a different level, we begin to get acquainted, we begin to talk deep. You now begin to tell me some of the things that worries you. I will now begin to tell you some of the things that also worries me. That is when I can now know, okay, this is the way I can provide help for you. That's when you can now know, okay, this is the way you can provide help for me. So only when you work with your team members directly, you supervise them, you call them, you work directly with them. You understand? That's the only way you can know. You know, when we are doing a group work, and then the lecturer just called randomly, anybody out of the group, you just call randomly. I say, hey, please tell us what your group has done. He said, sir, no, it's Emeka that has been doing it too. Let Emeka come and talk. Such person has been loafing around. He doesn't really care. You understand? So what I'm saying in essence, please, as a project manager, you need to do what? You need to manage your team. Right? And when you're managing your team, bring in your interpersonal skills. Conflict management, we have spoken about it. Then let's look at withdrawing and avoiding. Yes, what's the best way for you to withdraw and avoid? If you know, say this thing will cause us problems, it will cause us conflicts, be proactive. Once you do this, it means you are being emotionally intelligent. Smoothing and accommodating is another interpersonal skills that we need to apply. We focus on what we have in common, what unites us, rather than what divides us. So we talk about what makes us to agree on some certain things and not what divides us. You understand? That is smoothing and accommodating rather. Then we also have compromising and reconciling. What does this mean? In a conflict situation, you need to forego some circumstances, and the other party will also forego some certain things so that you can have a win-win situation. You understand? A win-win situation. Presently, those of us who are in Makurdi, there's a construction of a major construction, road construction that's ongoing. If you look at the Zenith Bank that is very close to Wurukum Market, the one just by the Wurukum roundabout, at some point you saw a lot of people. They carry hammer, they are breaking concrete. And when they are breaking concrete, look at what they are looking out for. They are looking out for the reinforcement. They are looking out for the iron. So when they break it, they take away the iron. So when it comes to compromising and reconciling, we want to have a win-win situation or collaborating of solving problem. Is that, okay, let's try and see how we can save cost. Those concrete that they are breaking, normally they are supposed to break it. But would there be a reward for them when they break it? And I say, okay, fine. When you break anything you break, take the iron inside it. And that's why you see most of them doing that way. So their reward is on the reinforcement they are getting. Most of us went to schools in Nigeria, and I think we can all relate when we say there has been a lot of ASU strike and all of that. We all can relate when it comes to ASU strike. But most times, they don't agree. But at some point, they will call up the ASU strike. But the point is that federal government and ASU, they will need to come to a common ground so that the students do not suffer. That's a win-win situation that we're talking about. But irrespective, I still know that it is still something that still happens. You understand? So me, I'm praying for them that ASU and federal government, may God help them. Can somebody say amen? So that the new people who are coming in, they will not waste their time in the university.
Amen. Amen. Hmm.
So I am the project manager on this project. I will tell you what we are going to do. You will do as I say. Our project management class this morning will end by 10 p.m. by 10 a.m. and there's nothing you can do about it. When I do something like this, what am I doing? What am I doing? Good. Forcing slash directing. That's what it means. If you want to show power. Want to show power. Hey, we have a problem, oh guys. How would you say we go take solve? Mona come, Mona brainstorm, Mona put it together. Make we do. How we go take solve this problem? If I do that, what am I doing?
Decision making. Collaborating, solving problem solving.
Good. I'm collaborating and problem solving. So I'm bringing everybody to come in place so that we can make a decision together. Decision making, emotional intelligence, influencing, like I said, network, very, very important. Leadership. Project management is all about leadership. You need to continue to provide that for your team because they look forward to you. They see you as God. They see you as somebody who has the knowledge, the power to do everything. Then the next one is for us to conduct procurement. Conduct procurement since you have decided that there are some aspects of your project. We mentioned it because we plan for procurement. There are aspects of your project that you are going to sublet, that you are going to outsource, that you are going to bring in a third party. That's the point where you start to conduct procurement. How are you going to bring out all of these people? You are going to do what we call evaluation. Yes, proposal evaluation. You understand? Means recruitment of vendors when you hear conduct of procurement. Is the point where you now begin to advertise, if need be, to the organization. You understand? You begin to advertise. Let's say, for example, you have a function, 1,000 people are coming, you want to give out refreshments. You go to Mama Cast, you go to Food Domain, you go to Jevnik restaurants, you say, oh boy, after I get event to my event, they come up in 2 weeks' time. And I expect 1,000 guests. Oh yeah, after do memo for me, do your budget list, do proposal, make I see how much will it will cost. And then 3 people, Mama Cars bring, Food Domain bring, Jevnik bring, you put everything together, you say, okay, fine, no, I'm going to work with Food Domain. You understand? That's evaluation. Now you're also going to do some other technical evaluation that tells you whether this person has been able to do this kind of project before, if they have the financial capability to actually run the project. Because it is after the project, that's when you are going to get their money. You understand? Those are the kind of evaluation you need to do when you are outsourcing your work and all of that. You get? So you are going to do that. So how are you going to conduct procurement? The tools and techniques you are going to use: experts, advertisement, bid conference, data analysis, proposal evaluation, interpersonal, and team skill negotiation. Bidder conference. Let's say, for example, where bidder conference comes to play is that in your advertisement, you did not put all of the information that is needed. So you just put it out there that they should bid. Now, if you didn't put up all of the information in your advertisement, maybe as a result of cost, then you are now going to do another meeting where all of your vendors will come in place. You will now explain to them what they need to do so that when they are now bidding, they can bid knowledgeably. Such a meeting is what we call bidder conference. You understand? Such a meeting is what we call bidder conference. So when that meeting happens, then they can now begin to submit their proposal because they have now have full knowledge of the project. Then at the end of the day, what do you have? You have selected sellers, you have agreements, you have change requests. Project management plan is also updated because there may be a few things. When you drafted your plan as at when you want to start executing, because we are in the execution phase, you are recruiting vendor. Maybe the amount you plan for each vendor is not the same amount. So you now go back, you need to go back and update that project management document plan. You understand? So this is what you are going to get at the end of the day. Managed communication is also another aspect of our project management when it comes to execution. Very, very important. In fact, managed communication is the major part of our project. You understand? Is a major part of our project. You understand? Because you are giving out information. Datas are being generated, results are being created, so you need to send it. What does that mean? When you generate information, you need to send it in a manner that all stakeholders will understand. You also need to distribute that information to the various stakeholders. And of course, there's going to be a feedback. And this is what we call managed communication. You need to go and you need to send out information outside. Then we say the method, you can use the tools, you can use technology. You understand? We all use technology. Communication method, the push, the pull, and the interactive. Communication skill, communication competence, feedback, non-verbal presentation. All of these are under communication that you can actually take advantage of when it comes to managing your project. You must be someone who has the ability to make presentation, like I've rightly mentioned. So we encourage you to take public speaking and presentation class. Yes. Then, of course, active listening is one of those interpersonal skills that is needed. You need to be someone who listens. We have talked about conflict management. We have talked about cultural awareness, meeting management, networking, political awareness. We have also made mention of meetings. Yes, these tools and techniques is also repeating in managed communication. Then, of course, implement risk responses is the next thing that we need to look at. Implement risk responses is the next thing we need to look at. When it comes to communication, there is these interpersonal skills I've said I'm going to deploy. Just before we move to implement risk response, there's this interpersonal skills I said I'm going to deploy. I said by the time I find the bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, this is what I am going to do. I am going to go to the village. I will buy firewood. I'll buy calabash. I'll buy clay pots. I'll buy leaf. I'll buy local mats. Because all of these things needs to happen before my wife gets pregnant. Because by the time she gets pregnant, I don't want somebody to wake me in the middle of the night and begin to tell me that, honey, please, I want jollof rice made with firewood, served inside calabash, covered by leaf, 3 a.m. in the night. 3 a.m. in the night. I don't think I'm ready for that. So I will need to be proactive. I've also told myself that I'm also going to learn how I can fry egg with palm oil, because pregnant women, they like and well. There's nothing pregnant women don't like. Yes. And I've also told myself I will learn how to make 3 types of tea: the hot, the cold, and the warm. So that if she asks for tea, when I carry the tea, go give her. If she say, hey, it's too hot, there is a warm one. Hey, it's too warm, there's a cold one. Nobody go fit kill me for myself. I've told myself this, and I've also told myself I'm going to be very peaceable with my neighbors. Because if my neighbors, they cook and my wife can't go send their food, my wife will tell me, say, oh boy, that food where my neighbor cook, she won't chop. At this point, I was expecting you guys to do, oh, what a man. So none of you is applauding me. So these are my interpersonal skills I'm actually going to deploy into my marriage. Yes, because you need to be proactive and all of that. Then, of course, implement risk response. Implement risk response. Hey, we have discussed about risk responses today. We discussed about it. Those risks that we have now identified in our project, can we begin to respond to them? Yes. What are we going to respond to? How are we going to respond? Of course, we are going to use expert judgment, of course. Then, are you going to enhance? Are you going to escalate? Are you going to avoid? Are you going to exploit? We made mention of all of them. You understand? Then the next one is to manage quality. Manage quality. Another word for manage quality is quality assurance. In planning, our planning process, we talk about quality control. What's the difference between quality control and quality assurance? Can anyone help us? Quality control and quality assurance. What's the difference between quality control and quality assurance? Anyone? Anyone? Can just use the chat box. quality assurance and quality control. Quality control is when you try to check for errors as the work is ongoing and you correct those errors immediately. Quality assurance is when you now try to confirm that there is no error in the final result of your project. Quality control is when you try to check for errors as work is ongoing on your project and you correct it. Quality assurance is when you try to confirm that there is no error in your final result of your project. Yes. Meaning that you need to check for errors as work is ongoing. Meaning that at the end of the day, you also still need to do final checking to be sure that you have delivered according to specification. If there is testing that needs to be done, you need to do the testing. If there are audits that needs to be done, you need to do the audit and all of that. So that's how you go about managing quality. And how you can do this, you can do this using the cause and effect diagram. If you look at your screen, you will see we always trace back to where issues are coming from. Where is issue coming from this our project? Could it be from the management? Could it be from the environment? Could it be from the material? Could it be from the people? Could it be from the process? Could it be from the equipment? All you need to do is just to trace back. Ishikawa diagram. Yes. It's a Japanese, I think it's a Japanese word. So you just trace back and find out where error is coming from. So you trace back, find out where error is coming from so that you can correct that error. That's what it simply means. That's what the Ishikawa diagram is simply telling us about. Cause and effect diagram, where you trace back where errors are coming from. This is to help you and manage quality. And of course, finally, is for us to manage stakeholders' engagement. You are expected to manage stakeholders' engagement. What exactly is stakeholders' engagement? Stakeholders' engagement is all about communication. How do you involve them? How do you allow their concerns not to become an issue? It simply means working close with your stakeholders so that you can be able to know what their concerns are and you'll be able to respond to their concerns. A good project manager wants to put his ears on ground concerning the stakeholders and want to know whether they are happy or they are not happy in certain circumstances of the project. Once you harvest this information, any indication of concern, you respond to it immediately. Don't overlook any concern because they will turn out to become issues later on. Remember, we made mention of stakeholders that have high power and high interest, or they have high power and they have low interest. They can kick you out. They can just talk to this project sponsor. Oh boy, this boy where you put for this project, I don't understand, and the guy knows study anything. And before you know, you are out of that project. Then, of course, what else do you need to look out for when you are managing stakeholders' engagement? What tools and techniques are you going to use? Of course, you're using expert judgment. Seek opinions. Go and ask people. Ask them for feedback. Ask for information that will help you to manage stakeholders. This kind of stakeholder safe. How do I need to manage this type of stakeholder? Go and ask. You understand? We did stakeholders mapping at the beginning of our discussion of project management. You have mapped them, you have put them in group. So that mapping is a document that should give you an information on how you can manage each stakeholders. Stakeholders will want you, make you they call them every 247. Why not? Give them a call. Stakeholders that want you to always send an email, document an email. Why not? Stakeholders that tell you that, look, I want this information on Telegram, just drop and there. Stakeholders that say, no, look, all these things where you write, you too plenty. Come, we'll receive face to face. Tell me how they be. You understand? So you have mapped them, so you know how to handle them. You understand? So expert judgment has led you to that. And we have also said interpersonal skill, conflict management, cultural awareness, negotiation, observation and conversation. When you see a body language of a stakeholder, why not? Go ask and say, Baba, what did happen? Talk to him, talk to her. Then before you know, they'll begin to express themselves and all of that. Then, of course, you should also have ground rules with your team members. Have ground rules. If there are no ground rules, they say there is no law. Where there is no law, where there is no law, they say there is nobody breaks the law also. You understand? Then we have also said meeting. Meeting gives us overview of how our project is going. We have made emphasis on how meetings are very, very important. So these are the 10 processes are involved when it comes to executing our project. So now let me engage each and every one of us. Among these 10 processes, which one can we use in all of the processes? Which one can we use in all of the processes? Please use the chat box. Which one can we use in all of the processes? Among these 10 processes, which one can we use? I personally consider one of the processes that we can use in all of them. Which one can we use? Yes. Use the chat box, guys. Among these 10 processes we have just mentioned. Use the chat box, please. Just use the chat box. Use the chat box. Okay, I just got a feedback from Azzy. Yes, she's telling me, thank you very much for that feedback. Yes. Which one can we use? Okay, I've gotten a response. Director, manage project work, manage team, manage communication, manage stakeholders engagement, communication. Okay. Okay, communication. Okay. All right. Ebolu says communication. People say direct and manage project work. Okay. All right. Let's save the time. Communication plays a very vital role. Just look at this. For you to direct and manage project work, what do you need to do? You will communicate, right? You are supervising people, so you need to communicate. For you to manage project knowledge, you also still communicate. You have a discussion with people. For you to develop team, you still need to communicate. For you to manage team, you need to communicate. For you to conduct procurement, bring in third party, you need to communicate, either verbal or non-verbal. For you to manage communication, you still need to communicate. For you to implement risk responses, you still need to communicate. For you to manage quality, you still need what? You still need to communicate. And for you to manage stakeholders engagement, you still need to communicate. Communication plays a very vital role in every aspect of our life, not just in project management alone, in every aspect of our life. Most of the relationships that you see that have crippled, most of the marriages, most of the broken homes that you have seen on the social media and all of that is because of lack of communication. You understand? Communication plays a very, very vital role. And for guys, please, always learn to communicate, because our women that we have now, they want words of affirmation. Yes, in as much as I know that at some point they will say, billionaire only cash, chopping and spending the money, they still want the cash. But words of affirmation put smiles on their face. Yes, look at your girlfriend, look at your wife. You understand? Say beautiful things to them, say sweet things to them. Your wife where they frown, or your girlfriend where they frown, when they follow you, they talk. Say this to her today. Baby girl, I know this may sound awkward, but you are the answers to my secret prayers. Just look at her. She will start smiling. Even the persons in this our meeting now, they are smiling. Yes, you see the reaction you are getting. That's the power of communication. You understand? You get. So please look for punchline. If you get babe, they send words of affirmation. Leave money first. Send word of affirmation. When hungry come ahead, then you send money. It's very, very important. Yeah. And communication, like we said, when you look at construction ongoing on site or the road, you see they'll put it. It's a non-verbal communication. Men at work, slow down. You understand? For me, I have said no matter where I'm getting married from, whether I'm getting married from the east, from the north, from the west, or from the south, I have a pet name for my wife. In fact, it's not a pet name, it's a real name. And their real name is, I said I'm going to call her Aisha. And the reason why I'm calling her this Aisha is very simple. I want to look at her every morning and say, is your name Aisha? Because you enter my Aisha. It's a punchline. It's just to make everywhere. So communication plays a very vital role. So please, as you go on in your everyday activities, please ensure to communicate. When you communicate, life becomes easier. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I bring my class to an end this morning. I thank you very much, every one of you, for coming in. As he's saying, I'm going to teach you lines. Sorry, I am not in for that. If you want me to teach you lines, you are going to pay me $1,000. You understand? Thank you very much, everyone, for having a wonderful session with me. I think very much, everyone. Please remember to turn in your attendance. Yes, turn in your attendance, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, and I will see you next time.